Good morning, venture capital. This is Metagame, and today's episode is about why the smartest investors in Silicon Valley are racing to pour millions into AI security companies that can prove they've built impenetrable defensive moats worth at least $50 million. 80%. That's the number of enterprise leaders who just told KPMG that cybersecurity is their number one barrier to deploying AI. Not talent, not budget, not strategy, security. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, security has always been a concern, you're missing the plot. This number was 68% 12 months ago. It jumped 12 points in a single year. That's not incremental drift. That's a market waking up to a fundamental truth that's about to reshape who wins in enterprise AI. So here's the question I want you to sit with. What if the biggest opportunity in AI right now isn't building AI at all? What if it's building the locks for the doors everyone's trying to walk through? Let's talk about what the smart money already knows. Google just closed a $32 billion acquisition of Wiz, $32 billion for a cloud security company. Palo Alto Networks finished their $25 billion CyberArk deal last month. That's $57 billion in security M&A in the first quarter alone. These aren't defensive moves. These are control plane acquisitions. Google and Palo Alto aren't buying security companies. They're buying the keys to enterprise AI deployment. Because here's the reality nobody wants to say out loud. You can have the best AI model on the planet, and if you can't answer, how are you securing this with a SOC 2 Type 2 certification and a FedRAMP authorization? You're getting bounced from the RFP before you ever get to demo your product. The data privacy numbers are even more aggressive. 53% of leaders cited data privacy as a barrier in Q1 of last year. That number is now 77%, 24 points in 12 months. That's the steepest climb in the survey, and it tells you everything about where the market is headed. AI's fundamental value proposition, pattern recognition across massive data sets, directly conflicts with data minimization principles in GDPR, CCPA, and HIPAA. Every time you deploy an AI model, you're centralizing sensitive data in ways that expand breach liability and regulatory exposure. Enterprises are finally doing that math, and they don't like the answer. Now here's where it gets interesting for anyone deploying capital. Half of enterprise leaders are now allocating $10 to $50 million specifically for AI security infrastructure, not general IT security. AI security. That's a new budget category that didn't exist 18 months ago. And when you've got 72% of buyers saying they'll only purchase AI from trusted tech providers, you're looking at a procurement doctrine that fundamentally advantages incumbents with prepackaged compliance. Trusted tech provider is code for vendor consolidation. Enterprises don't want to stitch together 15-point solutions to secure one AI deployment. They want a platform that already has the certifications, the audit trails, and the integration with their existing security stack. That's why Google paid $32 billion for Wiz. They're not buying technology, they're buying trust at scale. The Treasury Department launched a public-private AI risk management initiative on February 18th, focused specifically on financial services. That's the federal government telling banks, insurers, and asset managers that AI deployments without robust security controls will trigger supervisory findings. This isn't hypothetical compliance risk, it's a budget mandate. When your regulator says secure your AI or face consequences, that $10 to $50 million line item becomes non-negotiable. Let me give you the enterprise AI context that makes all of this click. 26% of enterprises now have AI agents running in production, not pilots. Production workloads, chatbots handling customer service, RPA bots processing invoices, decision support systems approving credit applications. Each one of those agents is a potential vulnerability, prompt injection, data exfiltration, privilege escalation. And they're running on an average AI budget of $124 million per enterprise. Here's the tension. You can't spend $124 million on AI if you can't secure it. The 80% cybersecurity barrier isn't an abstract concern, it's a blocker to releasing capital. There are billions of dollars sitting on the sidelines right now, waiting for security solutions that can unlock deployment. Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai. Traditional IT security assumed a perimeter defense model. Firewalls, VPNs, endpoint protection. AI breaks that model completely. AI workloads are multi-cloud and ephemeral. Training runs on AWS, inference on Azure, data stored on-prem. Security has to span all three with consistent policy enforcement. AI agents act autonomously, an RPA bot making API calls to Salesforce, and NetSuite doesn't have a human supervisor. Identity governance has to cover machine identities with the same rigor as human privileged access. And AI outputs can leak sensitive data. A model trained on customer support tickets might regurgitate PII in responses. This is exactly why cloud security and identity security are the mega deal categories. They're the only solutions that can secure AI's distributed, autonomous, data-intensive architecture at enterprise scale. The venture data is starting to reflect this. Swimlane raised $143 million in Q4 for security orchestration. They're the workflow layer that operationalizes AI security playbooks. Exonius raised $80 million in Q3 for asset management that extends to AI model inventory. Because before you can secure your AI, you need to answer a more basic question. What AI are we even running? Clarity raised $150 million in January to secure cyber physical systems as they adopt AI-enabled monitoring. That's the industrial wedge, energy, manufacturing, healthcare, where AI plus safety critical systems equals premium security budgets. The competitive implications here are structural, not cyclical. If you're invested in a Series B SaaS company targeting Fortune 500 CIOs with an AI product, the first question in every sales cycle is now, how do you secure this? If your answer is we use AWS encryption or we're SOC 2 compliant, you're losing deals to vendors with FedRAMP moderate and GDPR compliant data residency. That's not a product problem, it's a packaging problem, and it's costing you enterprise contracts. There's a wedge opening between traditional cybersecurity and AI-era security. Endpoint protection, firewalls, SIEM, those tools were built for web applications, not for models that can be poisoned, prompts that can be injected, or agents that can be hijacked. The leaders in the next cycle will be purpose-built for AI vulnerabilities. If your security portfolio is retrofitting rules written for legacy architectures, you're building on a foundation that's already obsolete. The 72% trusted provider preference means enterprises will pay a 20 to 30% premium to incumbents with proven security posture rather than take integration risk on a best-of-breed startup. That's a margin headwind for pure-play AI security companies unless they can demonstrate differentiated efficacy. We catch 40% more vulnerabilities than Wiz with G2 reviews to back it up. Anything less, and you're fighting for scraps. But here's where the opportunity gets interesting. Identity governance for agentic AI is a land grab right now. CyberArk's $25 billion exit is the proof point. As enterprises deploy hundreds of AI agents, each agent needs an identity, a credential, and an audit trail. Startups building privileged access management for LLMs are capturing massive tailwinds. Conductor One raised $65 million in Q4 for identity governance with AI-native workflows. That's the Okta for AI agents thesis, and it's got legs. Compliance as code for AI is another category forming in real time. Enterprises need to prove their AI deployments meet GDPR, HIPAA, SOC 2, FedRAMP. That's a workflow automation opportunity, tools that generate audit-ready documentation, monitor policy drift, and auto-remediate misconfigurations. Drata, Vanta, SecureFrame are all expanding from legacy IT compliance into AI compliance checklists. Early movers here will own the compliance unlock for those $124 million budgets sitting on the sidelines.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
So let me bring this back to where we started. 80% of enterprise leaders say cybersecurity is their number one AI barrier. Google and Palo Alto just spent $57 billion to own the security layer. Half of enterprises are carving out dedicated AI security budgets, and 72% will only buy from vendors they trust. The barrier just became the bottleneck, and the bottleneck just became the opportunity. The question isn't whether security matters for AI deployment. That debate is over. The question is whether you're positioned on the right side of it, because right now, the firms capturing that $10 to $50 million security budget aren't just building moats, they're building the toll roads that every AI deployment has to pass through. Security isn't a feature anymore, it's the unlock condition. And if your portfolio can't answer the security question, they're not getting in the door. That's our venture capital podcast for today. If you learned something new, tap 5 stars and follow our show. Thank you for listening to Metagame.
Grep News. Thomas.